everyone, it's Sabrina. So before I started this project, I just wanted to do a little introduction about what the project is. I don't always do those. I used to do them a lot, introductions to my project, but I kind of stopped. But for this one, I just wanted to talk about it first and then dive into making it. So I really wanted to document the special story of my daughter and I growing butterflies. We have done it since she was a little girl, and we love to do it every year or every other year. And last year we had a lot of fun. We even had all 6 of the butterflies be released, and it was the best fun. I loved the color scheme from Ali Edwards' Stories by the Month May, so I went with that color scheme in this cut file from Ashley Horton. I have to do a little bit more weeding, and I'll do that when I get done with my introduction, but it is this cut file that has a butterfly and also butterfly wishes right below it. I shrunk it down and separated the 2 pieces. That way I could use them in 2 different ways. I'm going to put this on the actual project as a title, and this is going to be more of an insert with a vellum piece. And then I also cut out some other flowers. That way I could potentially cut them apart and use them as embellishments. I'm not sure how it's going to work when I cut these apart, but I have them and I can go ahead and try it and just see what happens. Not only will I have the vellum insert with the butterfly, but I will have a full page photo insert. I could not resist making this photo huge. As you can see, the butterfly is right there, and my daughter is saying bye to the butterfly, and I love this photo. So that is going to be in the middle as well. I also wanted to add in some green because this Stories by the Month kit does not have a lot of green. It mainly has beige, yellow, black, and some blue. Still really love the color scheme, but I wanted to focus on more of the yellows and oranges and throw in some green. So I went to the Stories by the Month April digital, took a journaling card and extracted the greenery from that journaling card using Photoshop Elements. So that way I could pull in some of that green. And I also grabbed some chipboard pieces. These are the chipboard printed digitally, and this is the physical chipboard. Not sure if I'm going to use this, but I pulled it out just in case. I also pulled out a ton of ScrappinHappyStudio flares just in case I want to use those as well. So it's going to be a super fun project to put together. I'm very excited to get this story documented and excited to play with the cut files and just put it all together. So I hope you enjoy, and I'm going to go ahead and switch over to voiceover. Okay, I'm excited to get started on this project. I know I said that in the intro, but now that I've finished the project, I can tell you it was one of the most fun projects that I've done in a while. Just had a lot of fun stretching my creativity and using a mix of products. So not just Ali Edwards, but also, ScrappinHappyStudio and then Ashley Horton's cut file. I do have to do a little bit of weeding, and I need to grab the weeding tool that I think Cricut has, but I just have not had a chance to get it. So I got all the little pieces out, and now I can figure out how I am gonna basically jazz up this cut file. And I come up with the brilliant idea to use my blending brushes. That is the correct term. Use my blending brushes on white paper and then back my cut files on that. And I'm super excited to try this. I am, and I've said this before in my videos, I am a novice when it comes to cut files. I can cut out the cut files, but backing them is a little bit tricky for me. And for me, it takes a little bit longer. So I thought of this way to back my cut file and make it unique. And so I just took that dauber and spread the, I think it was Honeyman ink from Ali Edwards all over the paper. And now I am just gluing the cut file, and then I can put it over the top of that yellow paper that I've created. I need to find a better glue for the cut files. I think Ashley even uses a different type of glue because I feel like the glue pen, it's not getting really stuck on there. Like, it's just not gluing very well. But I got it on there, and now I can fussy cut out my butterfly, and it looks beautiful with the ink behind it, and I love it. This might be my new favorite way to back cut files. I love it. And for me, it is a lot simpler than trying to back a cut file with paper. So I love it. Very easy, very simple, and I'm excited to actually try this with the flowers. I am going to go ahead and grab the flower cutouts and figure out how I can cut those apart to give myself some custom embellishments. So I'll go ahead and speed this up and just turn on a little bit of music while I cut apart all of these flowers. Okay, it worked. I'm so excited. Remember in the intro, I said I wasn't sure if cutting these flowers apart would work, but it did, and I have a ton of flowers that I can use as custom embellishments, and I'm just going to grab a few Distress Oxide ink and, again, cover the paper with the ink. So I have Scattered Straw, and then this brown one, I forget its name, Walnut Stain, I think, but I'm going to use that one as well, and I think that's the only two that I use. No, I grab an orange too. I'm going to grab an orange to add for another flower, because as you can see, I'm kind of grabbing each of the flowers because there's 3 different colors. So I want to make sure that each of these have a good backing. Like, I don't want the flower to completely blend into the ink and get lost. So that's why I'm trying to make sure I have a good variety and the right ink that matches. So like these kind of light pink ones will be on the brown. And then I'll just glue them on, and then I can go ahead and fussy cut them out. And I just love them. Like I said, this is going to be a favorite way to use cut files because it's super easy, super simple, and I don't have to mess with paper. Paper and cutting and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to do the orange, and then I can go ahead and add in the last batch of flowers and begin to cut everything out. And again, I will probably just speed up the section where I cut out all the flowers, because I know that can be kind of boring to watch, but I'll speed it up and add in the music again, and then you guys can see me kind of cut these out. But you guys, you've got to try this, and please leave a comment if you're going to try it, because it is such an easy way to, use your cut files. And I'm excited for the possibilities with this and trying it with other cut files. Now that I have all of my flowers cut out, I can start to build the actual scrapbook spread. It's going to be outside the page protectors at 7 by 8.25, and the photos are 2.5 by 3.5. They might be a little bit smaller, but that is what they are, and they're all horizontal, and I'm going to take the 2 center ones and split those between the 2 pages. And I love the idea of splitting the photos, but I always seem to goof when it comes to remembering that I have holes to punch, and I'm lucky that this time nothing got, punched that it shouldn't have. Like, it was really close to being next to my daughter's head where I would punch the hole, but it worked out in the end, so I'm glad that it worked out. I adhered the photos and then grabbed the trimmer so that way I could trim off the sections that needed to go over on the right hand side. And it worked out perfect, like I said, and I picked a mix of photos because we actually had 2 different release days. Some of the butterflies wanted to come out and others did not, so we had to do it on 2 different days because you don't really want to force the butterflies to come out if they're not ready or, yeah. So you can push them to the top, but if they really, I mean, it's just advisable to just not do that. So we wound up having 2 different days. And if you can see up in the right-hand corner, my daughter is kind of sitting on the lawn, and what she actually has is a shoe because all of these butterflies actually came out of the little habitat and just landed on our lawn and didn't want to move. So my sweet girl was like, we've got to protect them. So she grabbed her shoes, or took off her shoes, and then put them in the spots where they landed. So she's so sweet, but it was such a great time with her, and we're looking forward to ordering some caterpillars soon so that way we can do this again. So for Butterfly Wishes, I did the yellow ink again and just got the blending brush and added it to the piece of paper. I'm also going to do 2 photos that are going to be flip opens. Yeah, flip opens. I am doing the stapled tab flap that I did in the open, what is it called? Ali Edwards open project that I did. I will go ahead and leave that video link up in the eye, but you basically take a piece of paper, fold it over, and then staple it, and it makes it so the flap is like tucked in, and it's just a different way to do it, and I'm really excited to have some extra spots to do the journaling. Now the Butterfly Wishes had a few spots where I needed to cut out the center, and my X-Acto knife is super dull, but I did the best that I could and just cut out all the different little holes for Butterfly Wishes. The only one that I didn't was between the T and the E, that whole section, but you know, you could barely tell, so it's all right. I just need to fix the X-Acto knife and then it'll be all good. So once I've got this all trimmed, I can go ahead and add it to the bottom of the right hand side, because my whole thinking now with these flowers is to do the title on the bottom right and then have a bunch of flowers going all the way across from Butterfly Wishes all the way over to the far left page. And I'll also put in a few other clusters of embellishments on the layout. Okay, so I finally stopped wrestling with the Butterfly Wishes, and I can go back to these 2 photos that I wanted to add the extra journaling card behind. So I just have to make sure that I fold them correctly. This butterfly one I had to kind of rip up because I'd already adhered it down. So I just ripped it up and added some paper behind it. And then what I do is I grab the green cardstock flap, fold it in half, tuck one of the pieces behind it, as you can see I'm doing here. Then what I'm going to do is adhere it all down. Then I take like a piece of the top portion of the cardstock, fold that, you can see I kind of just did it right now, and then take that folded piece and staple it. So that way there's a little chunk that is stapled and folded and allows it to be tucked in. It's a really cool trick that my friend Marsha, Hey Marsha Makes, taught me and showed me how to do. So I'm loving trying that out. Now with the other flap or flip open that I have, I accidentally like cut it apart and didn't add the extra portion. So I'm having to do it a second time. And this one is going to open to the left. The other one opens to the right. And I just took some Ali Edwards journal cards and shrunk them down. And then the 1, 2, 3, I changed the color for the number 1 because I wanted it green. I don't remember what color it was. I want to say it was blue or something like that. But I change the color and then I can go ahead and write a little bit on there. And then the other one is Say Yes To, and that has that really nice pink and orange color. So I will journal some little tidbits in there. Once I get these all adhered down, I can start to build the different spots. And as you can see, I'm again taking the adhered backing and the cardstock, putting that down, and then pressing everything down and making sure that I fold a portion of the cardstock to then staple with my mini stapler. And it makes for a perfect little spot to tuck in that photo. Because sometimes, and I think I've mentioned this, sometimes I don't want my flaps to just be open. I'd like them to be tucked and almost look like they are a flat photo on the project. So it's nice to have a variety with your flaps and flip outs and hidden journaling. Now I'm grabbing all the different pieces and I'm going to figure out how I want to lay them down. I have that digital chipboard that says Spring Loves, so that's going to go next to the butterfly wishes, and then I'll add in some flowers. I'm going to do a big brown one, a yellow one, and I'll also add in a ScrappinHappyStudio flare. I decided to go with the flares because I had more options with those instead of the chipboard. Went back to the title and decided to wrestle another piece out of it because I don't know. You guys leave a comment, let me know. Do you think you have to take the inside pieces of this cut file title and do you think you have to cut them out? I don't know. I feel like you have to cut them out, but I think it could go either way. I decide little other cluster is going to be up in the top right. I'm going to have a flare that says amazing. And just a little side note, when I was like thinking of the design for this, there's a car or something in the background. So having that flare there totally covered up that car, and that was perfect. Perfect little spot for the flare. I also take some of the smaller greenery and I'm going to put those on the title so that way it kind of frames in the title as well. I almost wish I would have cut out some more greenery. The more the merrier, right? At least that's how it feels for when I'm designing these projects. And I'll take the cluster up in the top right and kind of connect it to that greenery from the title piece. So it kind of creates, I'm kind of creating this illusion of everything's connected in this greenery and butterfly place that I'm kind of making. I'm also going to adhere down the little cluster up in the top left, and I know I have a cluster in the left and the right top corners, but to make them a little bit different, I just position the flowers a little bit different. So on the right hand side, it's completely cut off and facing the edge. This one over on the left corner is just facing the top edge. So it's a little bit different, and that's how I distinguish the two different corners and how I positioned the flowers. So once I have those done, I need to add in the Say Yes journaling card, and I'm going to work on adhering the butterfly to the vellum piece. So this spread is going to have the scrapbook spread, the 2-page spread, plus the vellum, plus the large photo. I went all out with this spread, and I just, like I keep saying, I had so much fun with this and playing and trying out a new way to back my cut files. Now, I knew when I was putting this vellum down that I was going to have 2 tiny pieces of the butterfly that were going to hang over, but that's fine. It almost looks like the butterfly's in flight and is going to fly off the page, so it works for me. I will grab the large photo, punch the holes, and then figure out how I want to decorate the bottom. You know, I could have just cut the photo and then adhered it to a piece of paper, but I decided to just leave it as is. And I'm going to grab a bunch of flowers, the greenery, 1 chipboard, and a flare. Now, my daughter, her nickname is Sunshine, and there was a flare that says, "You are my sunshine," so definitely had to add in that flare, and I'm going to put that above the chipboard since that's kind of the more important embellishment, I guess you could say. And then I took the greenery leaf and I cut a smidge off of it that was going to be behind the large yellow flower, and I'm going to take that torn cut portion and put it on the bottom of the spread. You can see it right now. It's in the bottom right, and it's going to make it look like the greenery is going off the page, which I really liked. I love how that came together. So it's going to make a really beautiful cluster across this page to really add some emphasis to this awesome photo that I love of my daughter. I love it. We had, like I said, we had such a great time with these butterflies and just watching them and seeing them grow. It was fun. Now I'm going to figure out the flares that I want to use, and I will use double-sided adhesive tape. So I'm going to put one directly in the middle of the butterfly that says sunny days, and I love it. It's perfect. It kind of blends into the butterfly. I'll also have one on my daughter's photo, like I said, and then a really large orange one that says life in full bloom, and another one in the corner that says amazing, that kind of covered up that spot where there was a car. So using up my flares, and I absolutely love this. So really made for a fantastic and unique project, and I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing this come together. It's just been so much fun. Now I'm going to do the journaling. So for say yes, I said say yes to growing and watching caterpillars transform into butterflies, saying yes to a spring tradition of ordering some caterpillars, and saying yes to simple wonderment, because it really, I might be, 38 almost, but I still find growing these butterflies from caterpillars to butterflies absolutely fascinating. So the first one I said is we released 4 butterflies during the first round, and we just loved sitting together and waiting for them to slowly come out. Also talked about my daughter, and the shoes and the sticks she used to mark the spots where the butterflies were resting. And I also loved my daughter's joy at each step of the butterfly release, and her utter joy at simple creatures and sharing the experience together. So that is my spread, and I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing all of this come together. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.